This is a story my family never talked about. I didn't even know my grandfather's name until I found a small box hidden in my mother's closet after she passed. Inside were old photographs, burned-edge diagrams, and a black notebook wrapped in cloth. When I opened it, I felt sick. There were designs in there for things that didn't exist yet, things that still shouldn't exist. Whoever he was, he understood the future long before anyone else. And now that the notebook is in my hands, I'm starting to understand why my family tried to hide him. This is the part of his story they couldn't erase. My grandfather, Elias Navarro.
He was a man who should have disappeared into history without leaving a trace. A quiet immigrant with a strange mind and a stranger past. But instead, he became a whisper, a rumor, a shadow that still unsettles people who knew him. His name was Elias Navarro, and some say he understood the future long before the rest of the world even knew what questions to ask. Elias was born in 1938 in a mountain village in northern Spain where the nights were so dark that people claimed they could hear the stars. He grew up in a stone house with no electricity, no running water, and no reason to believe life would ever change. But Elias saw things differently. He saw patterns in candlelight, in the way dust floated through the air, in the rhythm of footsteps on old wooden floors. Villagers said he talked to himself, whispering numbers and symbols no one understood. They called him the Strange Boy, and they meant it. At 17, he vanished. No one saw him leave, no one knew where he went. But months later, he appeared in New York City with $11 sewn into his jacket and a stare that made people uncomfortable, as if he was studying them, calculating them. He found work in a tiny electronics repair shop, the kind of place that smelled like dust and burnt wires. He swept floors, fixed radios, and slept in the basement. But late at night, when the city fell silent, Elias stayed awake. He took apart discarded radios and early transistors, examining them with an intensity that frightened the shop owner. And then, one night, he noticed something impossible. A strange behavior in early transistors when exposed to rapid temperature changes. A flicker, a pulse, a pattern that shouldn't have existed. He began filling notebooks with diagrams and formulas. But one notebook was different, a black notebook with a torn spine. Inside it, Elias drew something that defied the era he lived in, a complete conceptual design for a microarchitecture that looked almost identical to the modern microchip. Years before the integrated circuit was officially invented. Years before anyone else even imagined such a thing. And then, the notebook vanished. Some say a rival engineer stole it. Some say a major tech company quietly bought it and buried it. Others believe Elias hid it because he realized what he had created and what it could become. But the strangest rumor of all is that the notebook contained ideas too advanced for the 1950s, as if Elias had knowledge that didn't belong to him, knowledge that didn't belong to anyone. In 1971, Elias founded Navarro Microsystems. No one understood how a quiet immigrant with no formal education suddenly produced technology that outperformed the biggest companies in the world. His components were faster, cooler, more efficient. They behaved in ways engineers couldn't explain. Some said Elias had discovered something. Others said he had stolen something. A few whispered that he had been given something. By 1980, Elias Navarro was a billionaire. But he refused interviews, he refused awards, he refused to explain how he knew what he knew. Employees said he worked alone at night, staring at blueprints that didn't look like anything from Earth. They said he talked to himself in a language no one recognized. They said he kept a locked drawer in his office that no one was allowed to touch. In 1974, one of Navarro's early factories burned to the ground. The fire was so intense that investigators couldn't determine the cause. But witnesses reported something strange: a locked storage room filled with charred metal and the remains of dozens of notebooks. But not the black one, not the one that mattered. In the 1990s, Elias entered politics. He spoke about technological independence, digital sovereignty, and the dangers of centralized computing. He warned that the world was moving too fast, that technology was evolving in ways we didn't understand, that someone or something was pushing it forward. People laughed at him, but Elias didn't laugh. He looked terrified. In 2003, Elias Navarro retired from public life. He sold his companies, he closed his offices, and then he disappeared. No forwarding address, no public statement, no trace. Some say he moved to a private island. Some say he was silenced. Some say he never existed at all, that he was a ghost in the machine, a myth created to explain the impossible leap in early computing. But one thing remains true. The Black Notebook has never been found, and if it ever surfaces, it could rewrite everything we think we know about the birth of modern technology. Some believe Elias Navarro was a genius. Some believe he was a thief. Some believe he was a prophet. And some believe he was something else entirely. But the truth, whatever it is, may be lost forever. Only the legend remains. And the legend is getting darker.